Welcome to mySci Unit 23, Our Place in the Universe. In these lesson summary videos, we will go through each lesson and explain the key concepts and the activities you will be doing with your students as you go through this unit. In Lesson 1, students will answer the question, what is a system and what is in our solar system? They figure out that a system is a collection of objects, such as our solar system. A system changes when the parts of the system change. During the unit, students will focus on the design challenge. How can we analyze and interpret data to write an opinion piece about where we want to spend our next birthday? What this means is that students will gather, represent, and interpret data related to day, night, and the seasons on Earth in order to determine a location they would most like to spend their birthday. Begin by framing the unit for the students. Tell the students, this unit is all about our solar system and how the various parts of the system work together to create the patterns we observe and experience on Earth. This includes patterns we observe in the day and at night. Introduce them to the design challenge and ask them questions to get them thinking about how they can achieve this design challenge. You will also want to introduce students to the unit anchoring phenomena. For Unit 23, students will observe and compare daylight hours in Finland during the summer and the winter. From the video, students should recognize that in the winter the daylight hours are shorter and in the summer the daylight hours are longer. Ask students to share any questions they have related to the phenomena. Additionally, probe students to share their initial ideas about what causes variation in daylight hours. In the engaged portion of this lesson, students will complete the Is it a System probe. Students will note which things are a system and describe the rules they use to determine if something is a system. Use talk moves to allow students time to discuss their ideas and justify their choices. Next, provide students with the definition of a system. A system is a collection of things, including processes, that have influence on one another and the whole. Using this definition, students will revisit their initial ideas on the probe, highlighting all those things that are a system as a class. Next, students will pick one of the items they highlighted as a system and describe how it functions. They will also choose something that is not a system and explain why. For example, a school is a system because it is made up of many parts and processes that work together, including teachers, administrators, students, the school building, and buses, to name a few. In contrast, a box of screws is not a system because removing one screw from the box does not affect the function of the other screws. They will also consider what happens when one of the components of a system is removed. If a component is removed from a system, the system would be changed. For example, if students are removed from a school system, it will no longer function as it was intended to. In the Explore portion of this lesson, students will make a class list of the objects they think are in the solar system. Next, they will be grouped and given a set of solar system cards. To begin with, students should refrain from reading the information on the back of the cards. Instead, students will sort the cards based on their observations. They should use Post-its to title their categories. Students can share their categories and look for any patterns in how students grouped the cards. After their initial sort, students can use the information on the back of the cards to categorize the objects and hold a class discussion about the objects in our solar system. In the Explain portion of this lesson, students will focus on the Sun and the 8 planets. They will attempt to put them in order from closest to furthest from the Sun, using information on the back of the cards about their distance from the Sun. Students will then obtain information about the solar system from video and text resources. They will use this information in conjunction with their learning from the card sort and a class discussion to develop a solar system Freyer model. To guide the discussion, use the question prompts found in the curriculum. Additionally, this would be a good time to utilize talk moves to facilitate productive student discussion. Refer to the teacher pages for an exemplar Freyer model. In the Elaborate portion of this lesson, students will read Journey Through Our Solar System. This is a read-aloud book, and the read-aloud guide is found in the teacher pages. The read aloud guide can be used to understand patterns within our solar system, including common characteristics among inner planets and common characteristics among outer planets, the history of astronomy, and how technology has been used to understand our solar system. Next, students will participate in a class discussion about how you would describe our solar system to someone. In the Evaluate portion of this lesson, students will complete a formative assessment. Students will explain what they think of when they hear the word solar system. They will also draw a picture of our solar system, labeling objects that are part of the system. Have students use the scientific drawing rubric to review the expectations of their drawing. This rubric can be used for all scientific drawings in Unit 23. By the end of this lesson, students will have defined a system and described the major components of our solar system.